Thank you for tuning in to the Peoplz and Dragons. If you enjoy the content we provide, then subscribe, like, and maybe join in on the action at www.pndrpg.com. RType X, Anarchy XII, and Tempus versus the Gamma Fiend. In the finale of the Gamma Haven prequel, we witness a climactic showdown between three players and one of the major antagonists of the saga, the Gamma Fiend. As the director, I've had the wonderful honor of watching things organically play out and see the story arcs of each character tie into one another, leading up to this moment. RType X. Returning to fight, we see RType X, who had a recent bout with the Gamma Fiend in Episode 5, Gamumba's Day, but had faced extra opposition from Anarchy XII's androids, which temporarily sidelined RType X. However, during his bout with the Gamma Fiend, he not only managed to harm it with the first maneuver of his Sun Kisses Earth technique, but he also stored the wealth of knowledge from his time fighting it by way of his Libra ability. In my opinion, Libra is what makes RType X a deadly foe and probably one of the most deadliest martial artists in the game currently. Just like how the Hawk's strength grows, RType's experience grows, and when you have an abundance of experience with something, that something just becomes easier to accomplish. Think of it as the difficulty of a video game matching your skill level until it can defeat you. We can do a whole video on Libra, but in a nutshell, Libra remembers everything, stores and compartmentalizes the experience, essentially analyzing said thing as a calculator crunches numbers until it produces a sum for it. We also learned that RType X has made a conscious decision to unwind a bit more, as his current hostile environment was similar to that of Monster Island, where he always needed to be at his best. So suffice it to say, RType was just about ready to take care of the Gamma Fiend by himself, until he encounters Anarchy XII. Now, last we saw Anarchy XII, he was recovering from major stress, all while training intensely with the King's Hand, likely because he had planned on taking out the Gamma Fiend himself as well. Now we know, Anarchy has the ability to create very formidable androids from RType's fight with B2 Brawler and Nomad, but the King's Hand are supposedly on another tier if they are to protect Anarchy. We first saw their amazing teamwork in their debut in Episode 5 as they cleaned up the Gamma zombies at the Vanillith Sea Lab. To really gauge their effectiveness, we would need to see how they fare against RType over BR, Brawler, and Nomad. And so we did. Anarchy seemed to patronize RType by telling him that he isn't adequate enough to deal with the Gamma Fiend. RType takes a step forward, to which the Bishop tries to snipe him, and so the battle begins. I'd like to interject here with some meta. Both players specified in their phase form that their main goal was to destroy the Gamma Fiend. However, both parties were okay with the idea of a little sparring match between their characters, and so this is when we got a glimpse of RType versus Anarchy XII. Anarchy XII has an army of androids. However, RType X has an army of energy clones of himself. This is displayed when we see the Bishop get nuked just before sniping RType. RType is a martial art master. However, Anarchy has programmed every martial arts into his androids, and they perform said martial art at the highest capacity non-stop. RType can only compete because Libra makes it so he improves as fast as the android's AI adapts. This is displayed when we watch RType go toe-to-toe with Anarchy's otherwise lethal androids. One thing to note is that we see moments where RType does not improve in time and is murdered, but it ends up being his energy clone. This is because RType is still testing his foe. Anarchy's defenses are extremely high, while in formation with the King's Hand, and can sustain just enough assault and pressure to keep RType at bay for an extended period of time. RType performs his Senbong Ringe technique, which calls upon an endless swarm of razor-sharp lotus petals made of energy, that can overwhelm its target with thousands of cuts. He uses this to displace the king and Anarchy to move in close for the takedown. This is when we are shown more of Anarchy's genius. Anarchy's suit is able to create a field of nullification, and is likely an expansion of the gamma nullification technology he used in episode 3, weaponized within the golden bracelets. This nullifies RType's ability to manipulate energy the way he does, causing a brief misstep. Libra stores this experience, and RType immediately continues his attack using his martial arts mastery, which is a skill and not a mutation. RType's martial arts versus the enhanced reflexes and defenses provided by Anarchy's exosuit was in favor of Anarchy's exosuit, and that's when we watch him shatter RType's clone. We then see RType step out with everything he needs to know to beat Anarchy XII, but just before they square off again, they almost get nuked by the Gamma Fiend, but are whisked to safety by Tempus. While they've been fighting, the Gamma Fiend has been terrorizing the entire city and had laid its sights on them. Tempus stops time and moves them out of the way. We know Tempus has spent the majority of the saga trying to make Haven a safe city, and here we have this monster turning it into a hell zone. Tempus also knows that RType had gone away to face the Gamma Fiend after the fundraiser, and likely saw him fighting the androids on television. That said, Tempus knows that if he and the others can take down the Gamma Fiend, it can show that the mutants can do great things for the city, and the Gate Center can harbor this. Tempus pulls Anarchy and RType apart and refocuses them on the true enemy. Now, in regards to the enemy, we know that the Gamma Fiend is the result of mass mutation, a phenomenon that occurs when multiple infected beings merge into one chaotic abomination. The form that the Fiend took on after being wrecked by RType X made it become a very sporadic, elusive, and troublesome opponent. Tempus attacks the Fiend by absorbing time from it, decaying it in the process, and immensely putting that time into RType X and Anarchy, allowing them to outmaneuver the sea of arms and tentacles. The Gamma Fiend is an endless and undying monster, and so this provided Tempus with endless time to siphon from it. With Anarchy's army of android shock troopers and blankets of explosive swarm bots, Tempus providing speed buffs and warding away the majority of potential opposition with temporal anomalies. And finally, RType's devastating energy attack techniques, specifically the final blow, Aidawagia, War on All Fronts, an all-out assault on the target's energetic signature and physical self, completely obliterates the Gamma Fiend. I thought the temporary alliance of Anarchy XII, Tempus, and RType was the perfect mix of abilities to take down the massive creature. Raw destructive power, while managing the chaos from the Gamma zombies and lunatic advocate supporters. Thanks for watching Peoplz and Dragons, the interactive RPG game show. I encourage everyone to jump into our comment section to participate in the lore contests, as well as visit our Patreon page to learn what perks come with your support for our machine. Peace.